Due to the current climate, the episode that you're going to listen to was delayed several weeks. Some of the information is now out of date, and some of the comments in the video were mistakes. We apologize for the mistake in the video, and we hope you enjoy the interview. Welcome back to the Total Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Paul. Our special guest this week is Natalie McGovern. She is the current reigning and defending Ms. United States World 2019 national title winner. I am so excited to have our first national title interview. Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming on the show. I want you guys to really pay attention to this lovely interview with Natalie. It just proves that you can go through adversities and start at the bottom and eventually reach your goal and become a national title winner. She's an excellent person to learn from. Starting in jingles as a young child and singing with her mother to today, Natalie also performs in local theater to rave reviews. Nearly 10 years and also winning a national title. She tells her entire story. Please stay tuned. This is one story that you will learn from. And welcome to the show, Natalie.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm personally really excited to finally have a national title winner on our show. So woo-woo to you and congratulations on that. I'm sure that was definitely a long life achievement. So.
Yes, absolutely. I have been in pageantry for about 8 years and had a few titles along the way. So it was really exciting to be able to win this national title. Absolutely.
So let's roll it back as we do every on Total Focus, and let's break it down exactly how you did achieve that. So first off, what was the thing that really sets you in motion? Do you have a singing background? Are you in dance? Are you an actor? Like, what really propelled you to be so successful in the pageant world and to be successful in life?
Right, absolutely. So a little bit of both. I have a performer background. I have been performing since the age of 5. I did radio jingles, and I was in sort of like this live charity concert thing when I was about that same age. And my mom did musical theater actually for homeschooled kids, and I did a lot of her shows. And then I just kind of continued with it in high school and college. I studied classical voice and actually thought I was going to go the performance vocalist route, but decided that I'd actually make more money by getting my undergrad in communication, which is what I did. So I got my bachelor's in communication, and while I was in school, I just continued to pursue theater as well as community theater. And I've now been doing community theater for over 10 years.
Well, congratulations on that. I mean,
thank you.
I mean, most people don't do anything. No, most people don't do that much for 10 years. So that's an achievement. So that's definitely something that it shows a commitment to your craft. So.
Absolutely. Well, I have always aspired to do something professionally as far as theater is considered, but I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. Go Huskers. Go Huskers. In Omaha, there is a huge art scene. However, it is a competitive landscape for the arts and for theater. So, I'm plugging away at it, and I also branched a little bit into, I guess you could say, the on-camera film arena. I was with a talent agency for a little bit where I was doing some commercials. I've done some voiceovers. So I've kind of dabbled in the talent world as well. But really my passion, I would say, is definitely theater. I typically do a show every summer. And actually just last summer, I was Kate in Pirates of Penzance. So it was my first chance to be in an operetta. Absolutely enjoyed it. Had the time of my life performing that role. And then I did a straight theater role. I was Curly's wife in Of Mice and Men following. It was like a back-to-back show. And then for the first time ever in November, there was a fundraiser that the theater that I call it my home theater that I perform at they put on this fundraiser, and it was a murder mystery event, so I was able to act in that as well. So I've pretty much been doing theater I've been doing it for about 3 straight months-ish, maybe even 4, if you count in all the rehearsal time. And so doing back-to-back shows was really invigorating, really fun, but also very challenging because I work a full-time job. I freelance write for a publication in town, covering theater and music reviews. Some people might think of that as a conflict of interest, and it's really not, because I'm mostly reviewing shows that are coming in from at the Orpheum. It's a theater that we have in Omaha, and it's Broadway across America. I think that's what it's called. Broadway,
Okay, so they're doing the Broadway
shows, right? Broadway shows coming in, and I'm able to review those, as well as local theaters around town that I really don't have any affiliation with. So,
well, that just gives you an avenue to see also what talent is there and what you can improve, because you get, it's just like scouting. It's like if you're playing a professional sport, it's not called cheating if you go and you buy a ticket to see what your opponent is doing just to see who or watch their video. So that's just, that's a good way to scout and see. That's how you learn in life, is to see who's doing better or to fail. And most people don't want to fail, so it's see who's doing better, and
that makes total sense. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So so there was 2 things that you brought up that I wanted to ask you about. So you mentioned that because we haven't had anyone on the show that does voiceovers. So how did you get into voiceovers, and how young were you? And you've been doing the Broadway portion in conjunction at the last 10 years, or the voiceovers or something sporadic?
Right. So I was really young when I started doing the jingles, and the voiceover part came later. I was actually in college, and I was taking this film class, and my professor, somehow he had some connection with, I guess, people that were doing a voiceover, and he asked me if I would like to be a part of it. It was actually completely unpaid, but it was resume experience, so I did that.
Right, experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cool thing is
you
you're
have to
doing.
Get started somewhere.
Well, the cool part is that you had that experience doing jingles. Now, did the jingle experience be very similar to the voiceover experience, where you're reading?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. But the thing is, I did the jingles when I was 5, so I got scouted at that charity concert that I was a part of, and I sang with my mom on stage, and this guy, scouted me, and he brought me in, and I sang this jingle. I think it was for like a kid's daycare.
Wow.
And I was a little kid. I had also won a radio singing contest that same year, so I got a really early start doing this. And then, unfortunately, in Omaha, or at least in the Midwest, from what I have seen, there's not a lot of talent agencies that really support or have work, I guess you could say, for jingles. I think they're more national agencies, if I'm correct. And correct me if I'm wrong. I probably am wrong on this. But
I'm not an expert in that, so I'll take you at your word.
Okay, yeah. I don't really know as well. But from what I have seen, from the research that I've done on the agencies, they mostly provide voiceover and on-camera work. So I have always wanted to try to continue my work with singing, jingles regionally or nationally or something along those lines, because I am a singer-songwriter, I am a performer, and I have had lots of opportunities to sing. In 2017, I was able to sing the national anthem for the U.S. Olympic curling trials when it came to Omaha at the Baxter Arena, and that was an experience because for the first time ever, I was on national broadcasted TV. NBC Sports was there. Now, they didn't air it. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of it, but it happened.
Really?
I was there.
They didn't even record it? That's so weird.
They recorded it, and I requested footage, and it was really hard to get a hold of the right person for that, and I feel like they didn't want to air it because that really wasn't the focus, unfortunately.
That's such a shame. See, that's where that's where having a really good agent would help you, because unfortunately agents, unless you're making buku bucks, really don't help you. But in that case, getting the right person to talk to get that reel that's the reason. Yeah, that's just a shame, because I'm sure that would have been a great thing for your reel. and it would
I
have been shot
know.
on a 4K camera and everything. There's got to be, because
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't get deleted. I would definitely put that on like a list of things that you want to go after. I have actor friends, and I always tell them keep a list of stuff you do, and then when you get to a point where if you want it, you can just, and you have your agent at that point, just tell your agent that that's what you want. There's got to someone, they don't delete that stuff. It gets put in a vault. Everything is kept.
Okay. Okay. That is good advice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's good to know because yeah, I really wanted to get a hold of that footage, and it was just really hard to actually have someone come back to me like, hey, yes, we have it. I didn't really know where to start, even though I thought I had a contact,
So
but it just kind of fizzled out.
so you're singing with your mom. You get recruited for this jingle, and you just happen to be in the right place at the right time. The jingle goes really well. So is
Yeah,
that basically what like sets you on your path to like I want to do performances, and then
I would.
you're gonna stay
Yeah,
on that path?
I would say so, and also my upbringing. My mom studied voice, and she became a music teacher. And when I was a child growing up, she taught piano and voice, and so I got some vocal training from her as well. But it was really the experience of being on the stage at such a young age and being able to perform. And I to this day really don't have stage fright. I love performing in front of people, and I would say that definitely segued into wanting to be on stage in another kind of capacity by doing the pageants, because I remember that when I was 15, I got a postcard in the mail, and it was for National American Myth. And I came to my mom and I said, hey, I really want to do this pageant. Now, granted, I had zero idea what I was doing. I did not know how to do hair or makeup, or, I didn't really know anything about pageantry, but I watched the girls around me. I picked up cues and kind of learned from them. That was my first pageant experience. I did not win, of course. But I remember that I was able to get some sort of I think it was a crown and sash through advertisements, I believe is what they have
Mm-hmm.
for that category. So a couple
See that
years down the road,
I
go
love
ahead.
that. I know I love that pageant specifically because it doesn't just focus on beauty. It has those other categories, and so does
Yes,
IGM. IGM does, where you can do clothing on design, and you can do art set design, and you can do. I'm trying to think of. You can do creative writing, I believe, is one, and then headshot.
wow.
So
Oh,
like just like different categories that are really trying to make your young child a more well-rounded young lady, or woman in general. So I
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's really cool, and then it's
It is.
and any child loves. I mean, that's why we've kind of gone away from like winners and losers, but every child loves more trophies. So if a girl gets 3 or 4 more sashes, she's gonna make herself feel better, and this is at that age, it's about just making them feel better and being more confident. So, the
Right.
more,
Building those
yeah,
skills. Yeah,
they can win
absolutely.
and
And,
lose.
they,
They can win and lose when they're 12, or 13 or whatever.
right. And I was 15, they had the spokesmodel competition. They had talent, which I remember I ended up doing that. And I don't believe I did spokesmodel. I don't think I had anything, I didn't compete in anything having to do with acting at that time. But what happened was, fast forward a couple years later into my senior year, and there was Nebraska's Junior Miss that my mom told me about, which I guess she competed in when she was in high school. And so she really encouraged me to be a part of that. So I ended up competing in it, did not win that one either. Then fast forward a few more years, and I am 24, and I decided I was going to compete in Miss America for the first time, the local preliminary for Miss Nebraska. And this is where my pageant journey gets a little rocky. um, so basically, I competed for Miss Omaha at the age of 23, and I competed in 2 other pageants, and I won my third pageant, preliminary to Miss Nebraska in 2012. I won Miss Alliance. However, there's a whole kind of story with that, because even though I had made sure that and verified with the director that I was of age to compete, it turns out that after I won that title, I actually was ineligible due to my age. And at the time, the age cutoff was 24, and now it's 25. They changed it several years after I competed.
Well,
But I go ahead.
it sounds to me, it sounds like you feel at fault of it the way you're describing it. You if it's totally true that you got it verified, it's not on you. It truly is on that director for making that flub.
Oh,
So
absolutely. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
so
especially
like
since I
I
double
hope
checked.
yeah, I just hope you look back on that experience saying that's not really your fault. So
Right. And unfortunately, there was a lot of backlash in my own pageant community. A lot of people thought I had lied on my application. They thought I had lied to the director. And so it was very
of
controversial at the
course
time. And right,
there's gonna be
people
people
talk,
right
in certain circles.
and there's gonna be people that also are resentful that you win. I mean, the longer and longer that I do work in the pageantry business, I really don't think that it's um, I don't think it's not it's a competition, and when people don't think it's a competition and then they get offended, then I say, well, if it's not a competition and there's no real winner or loser, then why are you so upset? Clearly, it's a competition. So as long as you go and understand it's a competition and that someone's going to win and lose, then you should be prepared to lose because most of life is about losing, right? So
Oh yeah, you don't win everything. That is for
exactly.
sure.
So
It's a hard pill to swallow, but absolutely
right.
you are correct.
So
um,
so it's
so
you
yeah,
just got
that
to live with that.
experience
You got to live with that, and it's hard when
it
you're in
it
your 20s. So right.
it was hard. It was really tough on me. It was interesting because actually several years later, I think it was 2014, the Miss Delaware that won ended up having the same thing happen to her, and
Yes, she
she
did.
went on the Today
I
Show.
know. I
She
know.
went on the Today Show, and I actually got into contact with her and told her my story because I said, hey, this is not the first time this has happened. Like, you were not the only person to have this experience. And she filed a lawsuit against Miss America, which I was named in that lawsuit. Well, I got a phone call from the Today Show, and I kid you not, I was going to be on the Today Show to basically support Amanda. And that was when the first plane crash happened for the Malaysian air crash.
Okay.
So I remember being on the phone with that producer and then them calling me up like that next day saying, hey, we have to put this on the back burner because we have a breaking story. And breaking news is breaking news. I get it. I'm in
No.
journalism.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You got to put that first.
No.
So needless to say, yeah, my story never got aired, but I was covered by the Inquisitor, which, it's a national online publication that
Yeah.
reaches a lot of people. So
I
my
hope
story
you.
still
I hope
got
you
out
printed
there.
that. I hope you printed that out at least. It's a
Yeah.
shame.
Oh yeah. I definitely have copies of it.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had an opportunity to tell my story, and it just didn't really happen for me. So, it was slightly disappointing. I do wonder what direction that would have gone in had I been able to get national exposure. I wonder how my life could have changed if it would have been for better or for worse. I really don't know because Amanda never really did anything after that. She had TMZ contacting her, I don't think she really wanted to be on the spotlight. I'm a little different in that regard. Not that I'm saying, that I would have tried to toot my own horn or anything like that. But the reason I competed for Miss Alliance and for the local Nebraska preliminaries was because I wanted to perform. I wanted to sing. I wanted to put myself out there. And I wanted to be a representative of my state, And Miss America was a huge dream of mine for the longest time. Watched it as a little girl growing up. And it was the pinnacle of beauty pageants for me, and just everything that a young woman should represent.
Well,
the ideal.
Well, especially for someone that is a performer like yourself. I mean, that must have just been like, wow, like I get to perform and I get to do all these other things, but the best part is I get to do what I love. I mean, I'm sure that was, I mean, it's one thing to be on a talent show, but then you get to do all the other stuff. So that
Right.
that's why I think Miss America was so special. It's not just a pageant like USA where you just dress up and you look really beautiful and you don't talk, but you get to like sing and do a competition. That's what I thought. That's what I thought was really cool. That was two different things. And you're right. Like,
Oh yeah.
Like, and the way you describe it, it's like, wow, that sounds so amazing. So it's just a shame they're
really
totally
was.
different now, because like one now like is not a competition. It's more like the Shark Tank, I guess. I don't.
Right,
And
it's not a pageant. They're not calling themselves a pageant anymore,
no,
unfortunately. I know. I personally don't like the direction it has gone in. I think that is a very controversial decision also to take away swimsuit. I will tell you right now, with my background in NAM and everything, once I started competing for the local Miss Nebraska pageants, I think I got the pageant bug again. It kind of became like, it kind of just flourished again for me when I was on stage in my swimsuit. Like I literally felt the energy. It's almost like being on a runway, like being in a fashion show, which I also love. I love to model. And I just got this surge of energy and I went for it. It was so fun for me. It was really invigorating. And I was just like, I have to keep doing this. This is so much fun. And like you said, the talent component and being able to speak on stage, actually speaking was probably, public speaking was my lowest score. Like I did well in the interview room somewhat, but it was always the public speaking. For whatever reason, I can sing in front of people, but it's harder to talk in front of them.
it's that
I don't know what that's all about.
it's that walking and talking thing. Doing them both at the same time is so complicated.
Oh yeah. And I had acted on stage for a long time. I had leads in my high school musicals. So it's just different when it's scripted, I think, when you know what you're going to say versus what you're going to say, which leads me to a point because I did compete in Miss Nebraska USA in 2014, what you were kind of alluding to with just a whole different kind of pageant. You're being judged more upon beauty than I guess you could say, well, obviously talent because they don't have it. But the speaking portion was interesting because we were actually given our questions ahead of time. And that was new for me because every pageant I've ever done, I never knew what I was going to be asked. And it's like being thrown a curveball, on stage, and you could totally get the deer in the headlights moment and completely blank out, which I have blanked on stage. It's embarrassing, that has happened. But with the proper training and the proper coaching, you absolutely can find ways to navigate around that.
Well,
So I thought it was just really interesting.
maybe they gave you those answers because they didn't want to purposely embarrass anyone. And maybe
Right.
maybe they didn't want to throw you a curveball. So, there I don't I can't speak for the director and what they were thinking, but it makes everyone look bad if the girl blanks, especially it's being recorded or I mean, I always remember back to our state, they wore a mask for in New Orleans, USA, and the girl forgot to remove the mask when she said Miss Maryland. So they just made
Oh,
fun of it on national television for a week that she said Miss Maryland and she didn't take her mask off. So like
oh my gosh.
you don't
The
want
poor
to
girl.
yeah, you don't want to have that. That's
No.
no. So
You don't want to go viral for the wrong reasons.
right.
I will say.
Yeah. Cuz it reflects on everyone. It doesn't just reflect on you.
Right, absolutely. I was thankful that they let us kind of rehearse it, so to speak. At least you knew what was, like you said, you knew what was coming and what they were going to ask you.
And then the answers are probably more intelligent too, because then you're not kind of just drawing on strings that you're repeating what everyone else is saying. So you really have a thought out kind of question, thought out answer. So to me, it just sounds
Right.
really appropriate. So
Yeah, and I wonder if they do that at the national level as well.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, all the prep that you can get,
Yeah.
They want to have a really fluid production with no hiccups, so that would make sense.
I just wanted to take 1 second from this great interview and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Productions. No matter if you're planning a wedding, a special event, or you just need an amazing headshot, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443-422-3830. Again, that's 443-422-3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to the show and listen to this great interview. You competed in a couple. You're finding your footing. So, how did you ever place at all at America at all, or the experience never went the way?
So Right. So back to that whole thing that happened with debacle with Miss Alliance. So actually, I I was dethroned. So because I was ineligible technically because of my age, I had to give over the title to the first runner-up, and then I was not allowed to compete at Miss Nebraska at all. And I also lost the scholarship that I had. So that's why it was a big deal. That's why I was like named in the lawsuit for Miss Delaware. Um, when she was on the Today Show, because my experience had affected my life a great deal. You know, I lost a scholarship. I wasn't able to compete for the the pageant that would ultimately lead to Miss America, and it was a big mess.
So that was a local pageant
That was a local.
okay.
Yes.
So okay, because I was getting confused because you said Alliance. So there was a local director representing the county called Alliance then, and
Right.
and
Yeah, town. It was
okay,
a
okay.
town.
I was trying to
Yeah.
okay, I was trying to understand why.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
no. Sometimes I'm just a little dense, so I'm just for our denser our listeners because you know. So you got really and it was your last year of eligibility. It was technically
Yes.
wow.
Yeah,
That
my
really
last
is.
year of eligibility.
That's
Right.
really
It was devastating. I will say it was really hard for me to move forward for a number of years because I knew I had lost my shot at Miss America, and I was so close. And I still to this day wonder what the results could have been if I had been allowed to compete at Miss Nebraska. You know, if I had placed, if I would have won, like we'll never know.
But you know, you do have hindsight. Okay, you do have a national title. So I will just as an outsider, I say you still won them up because you have a national title. So you know that there is. It doesn't take away the fact that you never got to perform at the state level at America and win, but you do have a national title. So you know, and you have plenty
That's
of
true. That's
opportunities.
so
And
true.
you have so many plenty of opportunities. Got long life that you could win another national title. So
That's right. You just got to keep going forward and be positive in your journey. I competed in a few national pageants along the way, but I did not place that. But ultimately had a wonderful experience. So immediately following this whole situation with Miss Nebraska, I heard about Miss Collegiate America, and the Nebraska title was someone was already holding it, but they had open titles, and so I was able to represent Iowa actually, and I have family that live in Iowa, so they let me represent with the open title, and that was a great pageant. It was held in Florida, and I'm trying to remember exactly. It was 2013, so that was my first experience of a national pageant, and it kind of was compensation, I suppose you could say, for Miss America. I mean, it will never be at the exactly at the level of what Miss America is or was in all its glory days, but it was still a very well put together production and very professional. Also, I've competed at Ms. United States, where I was able to be the Ms. Nebraska for that pageant system, and that's another terrific pageant. So I've had two national pageant experiences that I am really thankful for, and they were just like invaluable because I made so many wonderful friendships along the way. You know, I feel like I wouldn't have ever competed maybe if this hadn't have happened because I was kind of searching for like something to fill that void, so to speak. You know, I had not been allowed to carry on with my preliminary local title, and so for the first time, I found myself with a state title and more than one state title over a series of years. So it was I was thrust into the pageant world, so to speak,
mm-hmm.
and then I kind of got to savor and have that moment that was taken from me.
You know, I go with the philosophy that God gives you what you need and what you can handle at that point. And clearly, you know, after what happened, he knew that you could take on more responsibility. So clearly, you know, your path is on an upward trajectory. So, you know,
I agree 100% with you. Actually, 2014, I basically was saying to myself that that was going to be my comeback year, and that is the year that I was Miss Nebraska United States. So absolutely, yeah, that was my mindset, and I knew that I needed to move forward from what happened with Miss America, because it was just, it was still it just didn't sit very well with me.
No,
Yeah.
hey, I have to say, of all the systems that you could compete in, you got to compete in a system that has one of the best crowns in the entire world. Like to have a state title with United States, the United States crown is incredible. So
I love it.
I mean,
so
I think that whoever came up with the concept of using the actual Statue of Liberty's crown is such a genius. I mean, Miss America is iconic, but like, there's nothing better than actually representing the United States with a crown that really is a real crown. I mean, it's the Statue of Liberty, and I mean, it's everything you can think of. Even like the Little Mermaid's crowns are like that. It's iconic. Very like we're here, we're proud. And I think it's an incredible, like, I would, even though it's a system that doesn't have a TV contract, it's just an iconic crown.
I think they need one. They need to be on national TV. They should take Miss America's spot.
Well,
no, you're right. It's very patriotic.
Well,
I kid.
No, Natalie. The way the ratings are, like, they might not. That might be something that could happen, because I don't know if you pay attention to the ratings, but their ratings went down again. They lost 100,000 viewers. In the same demographic, and the demographics spread was 18 to 49, and they lost 100,000 viewers. So they were above They were above 450, and they dropped to 350. They dropped to 385. In fact, I have the stats here, because I did a recap show, and unfortunately the video or tape was corrupted. So so I apologize to our listeners why we didn't have a recap. But here, let me pull up the stats. So from 18 to 19. No, here, because it was just like so shocking. Okay, so Miss America in 2018 had a zero. It's not even a 1, so they weren't even 1 a million viewers. In the 2-hour time frame, it was a 0.7, and then over the course of the 2-hour time frame, they was 4.3 million views total. In the 19, the one that we just saw, it dropped another full half a point, so it went to 0.6, and they went to a total viewership of that 2 hours of 3.6 million. They lost a full million viewers. They're not there. They're not going to be on television. There's just no way. I don't.
Yeah, that's a death sentence for the Nielsen ratings.
It is.
That's not good.
And we all know the Nielsen ratings really doesn't really explain that much anymore, because there's what they call +3, where for our friends in the world that don't understand what +3 is for everyone who has a TiVo or has skip viewing, where it means you can use streaming where you can pre-record something and you watch it in the future. They have 3 days to watch it. They have 3 days to watch it, and it's included in the number. So that number includes the +3 number. So they don't even have that +3 number.
That's just so unfortunate and sad
to
hear.
Because you want that to go more.
I love Miss America. I don't like what it's evolved into. I'll speak candidly, but if they're going to go in that direction, then these are the consequences. Miss USA, on the other hand, is rocking the ratings. Miss Universe is still going pretty strong, from what I could tell. I honestly didn't really want to watch the Miss America pageant this year, but I tuned in just to see the changes and the direction it would go in, and if it would be entertaining in any way. I love the winner. I love the winner so much. I think they picked the right girl, but the format was a disaster.
Oh yeah, they definitely picked the right girl. It was, she was kind of Miss Virginia was more predetermined because she was on Ellen in late October doing her performance, so she was on the radar.
Oh,
So yeah, she was.
good for her.
Yeah, so like it was definitely like it was unless she was gonna screw up, like it was she was gonna win it. And I mean, I'm not saying
Right.
she was pre-picked. I'm not. Please don't put anyone out there say, "Well, Paul from Mid Atlantic says." No, no, I didn't say she was pre-picked. I'm just saying that.
Right. Not predetermined.
No, no, no,
Right.
no, no. So yeah, I mean,
I, yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, Camille, what I love about her is I was reading some of her backstory in an article, and she is not really a pageant girl. She actually, once they did away with swimsuit, I guess that's when she became interested. And I think she had very little experience competing, but I love an underdog because I myself kind of feel like I'm an underdog with the whole way I got started. And I just was rooting for her the whole time. I love her.
Yeah, I just like someone who is an overachiever and wants to do whatever she can do to reach her goals. And I encourage
Oh, and
anyone.
she's so intelligent. She's
Mhm.
so intelligent.
I-
I love that. It's a
Hey,
great representation
I'd
of
be blessed to have a daughter or a wife that is that incredible. So yeah.
absolutely a strong woman
Hmm.
raised in society.
Well, we don't want to. I mean, we went on a tangent here, and I do apologize for taking over your show. I just thought it was so interesting because that this organization has impacted so many people's lives, and clearly, it's such a motivator in your life, especially when you were younger. So, do you feel um, do you feel like a good friend is like gone? Because like I love Toys R Us, so to me, because Toys R Us is really gone, and I went there with my grandmother specifically, and like it was something I did. Do you feel the same way? Like it's gone, you can't like you can go back and watch maybe an old, but it's just not the same anymore.
Right. And sorry, so you were talking about Miss America, right?
Hmm.
Yes. Sorry. So you're just a little muddled in
Oh, I'm
what
so
you're when
sorry.
you were speaking. Oh,
So
that's okay. That's okay.
so the question was, so do you feel like the old days are gone?
Oh,
And like I made the example that I used to go to Toys R Us with my grandmother, and now that Toys R Us is gone, I I
oh,
can't go there
yes.
anymore, and she's gone. So it's like it's really it's sad. You can drive by that place, maybe the building is still there, or maybe it's knocked down, but it's in that general area, and it feels like home, but nothing is the same. So does that does that feel does that feel different that that one thing that you've wanted to do your entire life is kind of different now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm a really sentimental person, and I definitely feel that nostalgia and just longing for it to be the way it used to be, especially with the way I just completely wanted to emulate Miss America and all these girls that had gone before me. I saw them as such iconic role models. I still do, but it just doesn't carry the same weight necessarily. I feel like it doesn't maybe have as much prestige as it did. And so for me, that's really sad because it's what, almost a 100-year-old organization.
Hmm.
I mean, it just has so much history. And Miss America is a bona fide celebrity in America,
Hmm.
and always has been. And we wouldn't have half the pageants that we have if it wasn't for Miss America. So we really owe it to our roots, and that's the foundation. That's where it started. So um, I feel like, yeah, a piece of American history has kind of died in some ways.
Mm. Yeah, it seems like we've lost a lot of stuff in the last couple years. I mean, just from a retail experience, but like things. I mean, the one thing I was always as as a child is that things change a lot, but you kind of realize that more as you get older. So,
You
eh,
do.
and you never think that like the biggest things like you never think that Toys R Us is going to go away. I mean, why how could that ever happen, and how could Miss America completely change, because it Miss America at least still technically exists, but it's not the same. So it'd be
Right.
like
Well,
It'd be like taking away McDonald's, calling it McDonald's, but there's no yellow art. There's no yellow arches
Oh, that would be
anymore.
a sad day.
Right.
Well,
Like
you know what? I've had to combat a lot of pageant stereotypes, even in you know, where I work and just people in general. Just society has a certain perspective of what a title holder or a quote unquote pageant girl is like. And I think that it doesn't help when we have, you know, various versions of this on national TV or reality TV, and it's just not portrayed in the best light. And so more than ever, there is a fight for pageant girls to be seen and to be seen in a way that is not controversial or contradictory to what their standards and values really are. And actually, when the whole thing was going down with Miss America, with the CEO being ousted and bringing in new people, I was blogging about it, and I was kind of campaigning, to save Miss America. I don't know if I mentioned, but I blogged for Pageantlive and for Ask the Crown, and so I was trying to put that content out there and really get people to petition, to save the sisterhood. And it's really hard to see it go downhill, and kind of spiral downwards, because I have fought so hard for us to maintain our visibility, and I don't know, it's like an evolution. It's going in a direction. But what's really interesting is that, and this is something I've noticed in actually an article that I wrote recently, but there's a trend now for Miss USA girls to go on reality TV, aka The Bachelor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very, very interesting.
I think they purposely are casting USA girls, and
I think so too.
I mean, and no disrespect, but if I was a casting person, I would definitely cast from USA and America. I mean, that's a no-brainer. All the hottest girls.
Right.
Boop, boop, boom, do. Like, I wouldn't even have casting. I would just see who made top 10 at USA and America, and then offer them a spot. I mean, it's just like a no-brainer.
Right, because the 5 girls that are featured on this season, weren't they all like top 10 or top 15?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Texas.
Yeah. So I wonder.
Texas is a gorgeous woman. She's a little stuck up, but she's a gorgeous woman, and
she's very beautiful. She's very beautiful on TV.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect. I mean, the camera. I mean, you as a photographer, a camera just likes what it likes. I mean, it's nothing personal. So.
And same with Iowa, and I thought about this myself, because I know there was a time when I thought about being on The Bachelor as a single woman of almost a decade. I haven't found the right person yet. And so I thought about it, but then I decided that, with the goals and objectives that I have and ambitions that I have in my own life, I'm not sure if going in the reality TV direction would be right for me, because, from what we've seen with even just like the latest episodes of these shows, there's just a lot of drama, and I feel like that kind of tarnishes your image to a degree.
Oh yeah, but
I don't know.
But that's not even that you haven't even brought up the one key thing that undermines like the whole like in reality, because here's the one thing that no one ever really mentions. Why is it okay that when there is a guy bachelor and when there is a female bachelor, that they're allowed to have 15 relationships and allegedly kiss and make out and have sex with 15 people? But if you do that outside the TV show, that's a whore and that's a player. I don't understand.
Right, yeah.
Like, and so in the TV aspect, oh my God, they're all making out. Dude, that's so gross. I don't want to swap my germs with 12 people. No.
Right. So it's on the ABC network, so it's like a family network, correct? And it's supposed to be quote unquote wholesome, but yet it has this double standard, like what you were saying, with people being provocative and just drama filled.
That's what happened 20 years ago on MTV when they were doing Real World, and you had a house of 8 people living in a single house. What do you think's going to happen? And they all had sex together. And now it's like now it's on national television. You don't need cable to watch it. And I'm just like baffled that women are so drawn to it. And I'm like, if a guy did that outside and he did that, you would not date him. You wouldn't like woo after him. No, like what? Why is that?
Right.
TV,
And I guess he's trying to find a spouse. He's trying to find the one.
but you don't have 12
there are
relationships.
parameters.
But you don't have 12
There are lines you
relationships.
have to draw.
But you don't have.
Right.
He's literally like having a relationship with 12 people.
He is. And he's being celebrated for it. And now
Yeah.
he's in the public eye, and the women are in the public eye. And I mean, girls are going on this show just to be noticed, to gain
Yes.
national exposure. And I know why they're doing it. But, I think that really deviates away from the foundation of what this show is about. This is the reason why I won't go on The Bachelor. And that is because, or at least not this version of The Bachelor.
I mean, the original Bachelor wasn't this way, because if you watch season,
I think we need to come back to that.
if you watch season 1, season 2, it wasn't a love fest. Like, the guy would have like conversations, but he wouldn't kiss anyone. Like, if you watch season 2 and 3, not saying I've watched it, I just have read articles about like the
It's okay. It's okay if you
No, I honestly have not. I've just I've
no
learned
shame.
no shame. But like I've read articles about, they broke down the show and how the amount of kissing and making out has gone up like exponent. So if you take a chart and you take an L bracket, it just seems like it's gone up into infinity. So in season 1 and 2, it was like a straight line, no kissing, no making out, no sex. And then like season 3, it went straight up. Like, it went straight from like nothing to a couple to the entire cast. So it's just like,
okay, so really escalated.
Yeah, that's.
And they did that for viewership.
Yes,
I mean, hands down. Why else would they do it? Why else would they do it? They need people to tune in. I think that's why they generate all this drama going on. And they, I don't know. I mean, I think the producers, they might be a little sneaky. They definitely have a couple tricks up their sleeves to get what they want, the footage that they want. And of course, editing all comes into play as well. But I think a lot of the content that we're seeing is real. I think that, these situations are actually playing out before our eyes, so it's really quite interesting.
So you brought up the idea of having specific cast members from pageants. So I have a thing for the Temptation Island show. So you have 4 married couples that are not married, but they're on the verge of getting married, but they have either gone through a couple cheating, or just they've gone through a portion where they just are not committed yet for some emotional reason, whatever given reason. Now, they decided to cast on the female side to tempt the guys. They split the couples into 2 houses. So you have a house of women with all single men tempting the girls, and you have a house of men tempting women. And they brought in a couple of they brought in Miss South Dakota.
Oh,
So they brought in Miss. Go ahead.
Do you think they want to cast pageant girls because of their look, like they're just beautiful to look at?
Well,
on TV? There's more to it.
Well, she had specifically had a boob job, and she was actually living in California, because if you search Miss South Dakota, she's actually a resident of California, and because of USA's rules of being able to compete in 2 states in the same calendar year, she actually got accused of not having residence, but she has a house there, so she won.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly, I mean, I didn't like go to her house, like. Allegedly, she has residence in both places, but like she's like competed in California 4 times and lost. So out of the blue, she shows up at North Carolina and South Dakota, and she wins. So they had her on the local news, and people are accusing of her not having state residence. It was all over YouTube. I don't know if it made national news, but she was using that to be on this reality television show, and she made it. The guy picked her. He broke up his girlfriend to be with her. So you're they're definitely the whole pageant world is changing because they're definitely
It is.
picking people, at least on the TV side, to be reality stars and all that kind of stuff. So I am
And
not.
I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know because, well, first of all, like I said, I don't think I would want to be associated with it because you come from being a role model in your community, and then all of a sudden you're going to like almost a complete opposite end of the spectrum where it's like not a role model
Oh
and you're
yeah, of
being
course.
portrayed in this very trashy way. And I just don't think it's very becoming for anyone, you know, and especially for your image. And if you want to maintain that wholesome role model image, I would say don't be on a reality TV show.
Oh
At
yeah.
least not one that's super trashy like the Real World or whatever. You know, The Bachelor didn't need to, it didn't used to be. Excuse me, I
No,
misspoke.
right,
It
right.
didn't
What we're
used
talking
to
about. Yeah.
be nearly as drama filled as it has been in past seasons. So I, like you said, I think it's starting to really go in this interesting direction that is just it's just not a very good look.
Well, and
But like,
inside ballpark, just to be honest, they've fully admitted that if there's an argument that happens or a conversation that happens and they don't have the camera on because it's impossible to have a 70-pound camera on your shoulder for 5 weeks continuously,
right.
they make you do it over. They make
Oh,
you
that's
literally
interesting.
do
Like
it.
it's scripted, like
Yes.
acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
then you
I
can
mean, it's maybe it's good
perfect
that
it, and
yeah, but maybe it's good that it's a pageant girl because they can do it really good. You know, I hate you, smack. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Harder.
right. Well, and if you're an actor on the side, I
Hmm.
mean, hey, there you go. Then you're able to sharpen those skills as well. So it's just the whole thing is really fascinating to me, and I've
It
been
is.
kind of doing some deep dive,
But I think
research on it. So
I think that's more the TV pageant people because IGM is not that way. Galaxy is not that way. Internet.
right.
College international college Miss is not that way. I think it's
Well,
just
and
the
then that makes
USA
me
and America
wonder.
people that have really changed the script on what that is.
Hannah Brown probably paved the way for this, and Hannah Brown was
Hmm.
unapologetically herself, and I really admire that in her because she's quirky, and I'm the same way,
It's
and
hard not to
I
love
think that if
her.
I was on right, it is, and she has flaws, but she's open about it, and that's the thing. Like she's never going to be this perfect cookie cutter presentation, and I think that's what's so admirable. It makes me wonder, as someone like myself, if I would even be looked at to be cast on a show like reality TV because am I too normal? Like I feel like there's definitely probably a dramatic side to me because I am an actor, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I want to generate drama just for viewership. I think that there's a fine line. There's a fine line there that you have to toe. And I think that you have to just really think about what you're putting out there, the image, like I said, what you're portraying. And also, do you really want that to fall around? Let me say that again. Do you really want that to follow you around for the rest of your life? Is that on brand with what your goals are?
But
You
see,
know. So
that's where you have foresight because it doesn't necessarily come with age. It just comes with you've done something and you've realized that it never goes away. And
right.
maybe those individuals, I'm not going to say girls or men because men are as unwise to do stupid stuff when the camera's running as women are. So it's not a gender thing that,
Right.
you just have foresight that that, I'm 37, so I think that I've gone through enough as
And I'm
well.
32. Right. And I've lived a little bit of life, and especially after having the whole experience with Miss Nebraska, Miss Alliance, and seeing how your reputation can be sullied, it's not something that you want to go through again,
Hmm.
and maybe some people are okay with that, but I know that I personally am not, and that moving forward in my life, I want to do things that are seen as, prestigious, incredible. And, I mean, in my future, I would definitely like to be some sort of a performer, some sort of a singer, songwriter, recording artist, more than what I'm doing right now with SoundCloud, but, just putting myself out there even more with singles and music, and also be a published author. So like all of these goals of mine, I would say that I aspire to are just very, I guess you could say cultured somewhat. Like, I don't know how else to describe them, but definitely not at the same level as celebrity status, so to speak.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
not
there's
everyone.
celebrity and then there's celebrity.
I mean, but not everyone strives or necessarily wants that. as long as you're
Right.
living as long as you feel that you have accomplished your goals and you can put food on your table and you can live to the ability that you feel that is optimal. If $100,000 house is good enough for you, or $1 million house is good enough, as long as whatever you're living is good enough for you, that's all that matters. So
Right, to be established in your life and to feel successful and that you have the credentials that you've worked so hard for. I always said I never wanted Lady Gaga fame. I never wanted to be at that level. I want like low key.
you don't want to
fame.
wear a meat dress.
I'll
Oh
pass.
my!
I'll pass
It's
on the meat dress.
it's so
Love you,
great
Lady Gaga. Love
smell.
your music, but I will pass on the fashion.
Or be delivered in an egg. Don't you
Oh my gosh!
don't you want to be
My goal in life is not to have shock value by
okay?
any means. However, there is an oh my God! Now I can't talk. There is an avant-garde side to me because I am an actress, because I like theater, and I would say, I'm a little campy in some ways, absolutely. And I think that there is a persona that you have as a music artist, and I think it's all very fun. But yeah, no, my goal is not to shock people.
Of course. So let's get back to your competition. So you finished out. You said 14 is when you finished out America and all
Miss
that.
Nebraska USA.
Yeah, all that fluff that happened.
So
and
2012
then
was Miss Alliance. That was the last
Okay.
qualifying preliminary for Miss America. And then a couple years had gone on. I competed in
United
Miss
States.
Collegiate America.
Collegiate.
And Miss United States in 2014 after I competed for Miss Nebraska USA. So there's been a few in between, and there's been some local titles for these pageant systems as well.
Now,
between,
was that
that were just.
Of course. Now, is that
Yeah.
all of them to the point where we're now sitting that you have a national title around your waist?
Right. So actually, right. So prior to winning that title, then there was Ms. Worldwide USA.
The names get so long. It's sometimes I don't blame you if it takes a
I
couple.
had to stop and think about it.
I mean, I
There's
swear,
so many.
I swear, if they make another planet, it might be easier because we can start getting shorter pageants because they,
Miss Mars,
yeah,
Miss Venus.
I'm serious. I'm being dead serious because now they're like of America, for America, international.
I know, but I think I'll have to do a trademark, and when you start to run out of words, that makes it really tricky. You have to get creative.
I'm serious.
But yeah,
you can make some money doing it. I'm gonna sell you this pageant name for
absolutely.
$1.4 million.
Trademark law. It's a business. It is a business.
I mean, there's now even pageants that are there. We have pageants now that are just focused on Earth. Like so like you could literally make a pageant about anything. I mean, I'm surprised there's not a pageant about food or cars or,
Oh my gosh, I don't know about that.
It's gonna come.
After a while, I think that starts to get a little ridiculous. I'm just being honest.
I'm with you.
I like the idea of a patriotic pageant. I think that's awesome. Anything that has to do with the USA in general is amazing, or veterans or military,
Yes.
Anything like that, So, so the pageant I'm a part of now, the system has several divisions, and there's a Mrs., a Ms., a teen, and a Miss, and I represent the Ms. division. So as I prefaced earlier, I'm 32.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It sounds like you're like, oh, I'm 30. 32 is very young. Your rocket is still going up. So
Thank you. I feel old though.
You're not
the older
old.
I get in my 30s, I'm like, oh my gosh.
I'm 37,
like I said, I was 24.
so wait till you get to 30. Wait till you get to 37. Then you.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Then you can
Hopefully
call me
I'll
old.
be more accomplished by then.
Then I'll be in my 40s, so you can call me old. Okay.
No, 40 is young. 40 is the new 20. No, seriously though, like 24 is when I won my first title. So it is kind of weird to be a little bit older competing in pageants, but no shame, and there shouldn't be a stigma either because married women compete in pageants.
Mm-hmm.
Women of all different walks of life compete in pageants, so I really feel like there shouldn't be an issue there,
No.
But we have some gorgeous, beautiful women representing their national titles, and we're all a sisterhood, and it is a platform-based pageant. So I don't know if I mentioned what my platform was, but
yes, please tell us.
Right, so it's actually mental health awareness, coupled with arts advocacy. And it's just kind of like I tried to throw my passions and my hobbies together, because actually when I was competing in the Miss America system and then Miss Nebraska USA system or Miss USA system, my platform was mental health awareness, specifically in the area of OCD, but and anxiety. So yeah, I tried to kind of put the two together because I am someone who has dealt with anxiety all throughout my life, and performance does provide an outlet for me, and it's a really positive thing. And so for me, it is huge. Performance arts are my world, and I don't know what I would do without them, without being able to do music and perform on the stage, because that's really where I shine. So
well, mental health
it's
is
helped
such
me
a
in
great.
so many ways.
I'm sorry. I just want to say mental health is such a great advocacy to promote, to try and help to cause more people to put focus on it, and hopefully there has to be some way of either. I don't like the word cure, because I don't think that someone who has a mental handicap needs a cure, but maybe just like more help, or
Right.
more
The
compassion.
disorder,
So
it's been destigmatized over time, and I feel like it really helps when you have, a lot of national or federal regulations also being implemented at the same time. The government is taking a closer look at mental health and really actually like taking it seriously, for the first time ever in our society, which is great. That's making big strides. But yeah, for the longest time, people didn't talk about it, and it was kind of hush hush. And it really needs to be seen the same way as physical health is. So absolutely, so many people, it's actually a lot more common than anyone even cares to admit. Lots of people struggle with depression and anxiety and OCD, and there's a number of disorders out there, but those are the primary ones.
absolutely. From one of the things I've heard about is it affects like almost 90% of Americans. So it's pretty much in our society that almost everyone has some kind, either depression or some kind of like you're saying a tweak, or like they or agitation or something like that. So like most
Oh
people
yeah, we're
live with,
constantly being triggered.
right. Most people
Right,
have that
there's
as a
so many triggers out
yeah,
there.
exactly. And most people have it. They just don't know. They live with it. They don't understand that it's
Right,
it's a
they're
mental
coping with it, and awareness really needs to be out there for support and for options to seek help, because it is really hard to live with a mental disorder.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. So knowing that support is available, I think is the best thing.
Do you have any
for
specific place that you're recommending people to go to or donate money to for research? Or
I hope I'm saying this correctly. I think it's NAMI, NAMI. It's the National Association, I believe, for Mental Health. So that is the organization that I have tried to bring awareness to throughout my reign. And I really hope I said that correctly, because I've never actually heard it pronounced.
I honestly have never heard of the organization, so that's a perfect reason
Okay.
why it should be brought up more. So if it's a national
Absolutely.
government organization, then we should definitely promote it more. So
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. And also American for the Arts is the other organization that I'm trying to promote throughout my reign, as far as arts advocacy is concerned. So those are both organizations that are really doing amazing things. And I ask that you guys go check it out. They're on Facebook and all forms of social media, Instagram.
yeah, all of our viewers and listeners, if you could just take a second, pause this and go ahead and like them on Facebook, and please donate. That would be really appreciated. I would take that as a personal appreciation from my viewers if you guys can go out and do that for everyone.
That would be incredible. And I would appreciate that so much as well. Wow. That would be amazing.
So for people that are just trying to win a pageant, can you explain the evolution of going from a local to a state to winning? What was there any difference in your competition wise to winning that winning a national title, or was it kind of the same, or is it similar, or is it more competitive? What does it take to win a national title? Be on that stage and do it.
I think there's a lot more preparation that goes into it, but it's kind of the same concept. You just gotta refine every area that you've already been working on. And so if you need a higher caliber of training, you need to go ahead and invest in that. For me personally, I really just focused on myself and making sure that I had refined my public speaking skills, since that seemed to be one of the areas that I was, a little less successful in. I really had to hone in on, of course, like the fitness aspect. It's really hard for me to build muscle. So for me, getting into the gym is just not something that's going to happen. But I found other ways to work out and really have kind of that physical fitness regimen. And then I would say, you have to be at the level where you present and look like a national title holder. You want to be firing on all cylinders and make sure that you have that image. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to put this into words.
Well, I guess while you were listening to you, I guess I wanted to get your opinion. Would you say that the level of people that are surrounding you, you kind of make sure you need to be equal or better? So like if you're at the local level, don't go out and buy a $10,000 dress, because no one's going to buy a $10,000 dress for a local. Is that right? A lot of girls
get custom-made gowns, right?
I'm just saying, go out and get a trainer and then work out 6 days a week. Maybe just work out and look good, but at the state level, then you need to work out every day and have a meal plan. And maybe at the national level, then you definitely need to have the $10,000 or $20,000 dress. And is that how you would dress for the people that you're competing? Is that the best way to say it? And that put it down, put in that.
Put your best foot forward and make sure you're investing in every area. So if you feel like you need to invest in that custom gown, go ahead and do it. I did not, but I would say moving forward, if I were to compete in say some national Ms. pageant, absolutely I would think about the best design shape of a dress for my body. Does it completely fit me to a T? Is it completely altered? Because sometimes you get lucky and you find that gown just fits you like a glove. But, in other cases, you're going to want to have that custom made garment. And then as far as, really invest in your hair and makeup, because I think that is key to looking your absolute best.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have to, as a guy, if I'm judging someone, your grooming pattern, and that's even if it's a man. If you have a scruffy beard and all you have to do is literally put some gel in it and give it a little trim up, and you don't have the time to do that, and I'm judging you on it, I'm going to judge you that. So I'm going to judge a woman the same way if she just put a little bit more effort to put her hair in a ponytail or do it as an updo or curl it. So yeah,
right. Yeah, you want to present the most polished version of yourself. And so taking the time to do those beauty treatments and to have all the preparation beforehand is really essential. For me, I go about it in a very natural way. I don't have eyelash extensions. I don't even think I wore extensions for my national pageant. I went completely with just natural hair.
Wow, really?
Maybe the only fake thing about me was a spray tan, Yeah. Because I was going to go off of the makeup quality, how good is the makeup going to be on stage. And I'm just not I've never had a boob job or anything like that. I'm a very natural person. And granted, I'm a small, slender built kind of a woman. Mm-hmm. But I'm really comfortable in my skin, and I didn't feel like I had to do all those things to be.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you're very, to me, you come off as a very conservative Midwest person. So it doesn't shock me that you didn't get. It doesn't shock me that you didn't get a boob job. I've looked at your pageant photos. You're not very flashy, and you don't have to. I don't. If someone doesn't want to be flashy, they don't have to be flashy.
Right.
Now,
I consider myself understated classic.
Yeah, no, that's not. So I guess I want to ask about the eyelashes. So did you know eyelash extension in your photo or just on stage, or you did it either way?
So when I had so when you're talking about like my photos, the makeup gal did like just
okay. So in your photo, you definitely
faux eyelashes.
So would you encourage people to go over the top for the photo, but not really don't go crazy on stage then?
I don't know if I should speak on this because I don't want to give the wrong advice. No, I would say definitely do it up for the stage.
Well, what did you do?
In interview, you need to pull back.
Let's just speak on what you did. Well, what did you do?
Yeah. So in interview, I was really natural, and I think I asked for maybe a demi lash, like a half lash. But then for stage, you want to bring the drama. So definitely full on eyelashes. I know girls that are in college that are on the dance team and they get the full set of eyelash extensions every 2 to 3 weeks, or maybe a pro dancer would do this kind of thing. As a pageant contestant, as a title holder, I have never seen a need to do that just because I am naturally blessed with beautiful lashes. However, I do like to enhance them. So I welcome, a fake lash. Like, I think it looks amazing. Me personally, though, I am not going to go the extra mile and do all this expensive stuff because it's just, A, it's a lot of money, and B, it's a lot of work, a lot of upkeep. So for me, it was not applicable. It didn't really make sense to do it, but I know that some women do. Same with extensions. A lot of women will get extensions put into their hair. I have had the tape-in extensions. I have had the clip-ins, and I don't like either of them. I would much rather have natural, flowy, beautiful hair, which I have. At the time, I was growing out my hair. So that's the only reason I really had to do it. But, if you have it to begin with, it's like, work with what you got and then just go with it.
Well, I mean, you're a perfect example that you can work. You can go against what a lot of people do, and you can be natural, and you don't have to go over the top. So it just proves that you just need to believe in yourself, because there is so much respect and so much things that you can learn from someone who's won a national title. Like, I'm getting the feeling personally that you're downplaying. Like, I know I won. No, you won a national title, and like a lot of people will never win a national title. So this is like something that's really, really like, you won a national title. You're the elite of the elite. Okay. So it just shows. No, I know you should get thank you.
Right, and I'm not right. It's I try not to let it go to my head.
I know, but this is pageant world. We're talking about pageant stuff, about someone who wants to compete. If someone's 13, how do they ever achieve what you achieved in your life? And I think just hearing your advice and hearing your story is so important.
When I started out, I knew nothing about hair, makeup, anything. I mean, I don't want to show you the photos from NAM. They're god awful.
Everyone has a bad photo.
Before I discovered a flat iron, but I have come such a long way from my early preteen pageant days, and I did a lot of research. I made sure that I was getting the right people to be on my team, and that I was getting the cream of the crop, and yes, you might have to invest a little money and be prepared for that. But you don't have to break the bank either. There are ways that you can absolutely compete on a shoestring budget. Absolutely.
I just wanted to take one extra second and talk about our sponsor of the week, Mid-Atlantic Video and Photography Production. No matter if you're planning a wedding and you need a wedding videographer, you're doing a music video, or doing a commercial, they are the team to get the job done. You can reach out to them at 443-422-3830. Again, that's 443-422-3830. Or you can go right to their website at mavpp.com. Now let's get right back to this great interview. All right, guys, so this is the part of the show where I let my lovely guest, Natalie, take over the show and talk about whatever is important and on topic. So what is important and going on that you want to talk about?
Well, I think I was going to segue a little bit back to how I won the national title. I did want to talk about, an interview, they asked me a lot of questions about my passions and my hobbies. And I am a singer-songwriter and independent recording artist, and I am on SoundCloud, so you guys can check out some of my covers.
Congratulations!
On that platform.
Congratulations! I
Thank
didn't know
you
if you
very
did.
much.
I didn't know if you heard my claps, but congratulations! Congratulations!
Thank you.
Because I know
I
how
continue to perform.
I know how hard it is to put an album together, alone a podcast. So, I mean, if you're producing it and writing it, and then also putting it on SoundCloud for distribution and selling, and you're not signed with a label right now, or you're in the process of me, that's just like so hard. So kudos to you. So
Yeah, I am not signed. Honestly, I'm just putting out stuff that I have recorded with some friends over the years, but the original music is coming. So I don't know when that will be exactly. Like you said, it takes time and money to put together an EP, but definitely working on releasing a single in the future. In addition to that, I told them, because I kind of asked you, like, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years and what are your biggest goals? I kind of alluded to the fact that I am a freelance writer and that I blog, and I have had a couple children's books in the works, I've had a couple children's books in the works for many years, but that is another direction that I would like to go in it as well, and maybe find a literary agent at some point. I know that is easier said than done. All my aspirations and goals seem to be always just these sky-high dreams. But, you're supposed to go after these big dreams, because if they don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough.
if you don't dream big enough, you will never achieve the if you don't look high enough, then you won't even get halfway. So it's better to look further, and then if you only get to the halfway up, it's still greater than being at the bottom. And then if you get
exactly,
then if you get the whole way to the top, you're like, wow, that's what I was saying about like being a national title holder. Like shoot to be a national title holder, and if you only win states. Wow, I mean, I'm still a state title holder. It's states is still not that bad. So
exactly, and you never know what's going to happen. But just be thankful for the journey along the way. And like you said, I think it's like a phrase, like if you aim for the moon, but you shoot for the moon, but you land among the stars, or something like that. So it's just I know that sounds cliche, but
it's the truth.
For me, I think I stood out in many ways to the judges, because I was being authentic to myself, and I wasn't trying to put on a persona, or what I thought that they wanted to see. And so for me, I have a lot of passions and hobbies outside of pageantry, and make sure that you really incorporate that and bring that into your pageant. I keep saying journey, but I don't know what else to call it. So these are things I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a published author. I've always wanted to be a recording artist. And I figure I actually kind of live by the mantra, fake it till you make it. But along with that, make sure that you are investing the time and the money and the effort into those goals to make them a reality. So, put your content out there, but make sure that it's quality, and make sure that you are taking the time to, go the extra mile or whatever to put in that work. If you need to get the literary agent or you need to sign with somebody, then in many ways it's the same way as preparing for a pageant, but just make sure that you're prepared to put in that work, and then put your content out there, and kind of like, I don't know, it's putting yourself out there. It's giving yourself exposure.
Absolutely. So for people that haven't listened to your music yet, what is your style or genre that you're in?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, okay, so a lot of the covers that I've recorded have been, I would say, very kind of folk, pop, rock, almost pop genre. Some of it's even classical, contemporary. My own personal songwriting style, I would say, is very folk driven, but it's also pretty eclectic. I'm not just one genre. I sing a number of genres, and I love anything from Broadway to opera to rock. And so, very eclectic taste. But
and what's the theme
right now is?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's pretty acoustic. Yeah, it's pretty acoustic. Like, who are some of my musical influences?
Well, no, like, are you singing more about love songs, or are you singing
Oh
about
yeah.
tragedies, or like, um, my dog ran off. Yeah.
Right. No. No. There's a lot. No, they're very romantic themes. Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely love
man.
songs. Some of them are personal, like introspective type songs. But I say a lot of them are fueled by romance, especially with the single that I'm working on now. And
I mean, love songs are
yeah.
so. Look at the Beatles. A majority of their top songs are all, "She Loved Me," you know, "Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah," um,
Well, love is that emotion that you can really like
it
get
is.
into, and sometimes it's unrequited love, and so I can really connect with that one as well.
It's the one
Um,
thing that connects almost every single person. It's so, like
right,
death.
it's a universal
Yeah.
theme.
I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
it's something that happens to every single person. Like you could literally write about taxes, but taxes doesn't. But like love, but like love is something that is so positive to every single person,
It
in some
is.
form.
And it's such a beautiful emotion. So I just really like to convey that through music. Trying to think what else, what other styles. I would say my brand is very like romantic, and there's an air of sophistication to it. But I also really like eclectic stuff, ethereal things, kind of avant-garde. So it can be kind of out there, Like I like experimental music, so it's just a wide variety of a mixed bag of sorts of genres.
Are you excited that your music could change as you get older and have more experiences? And are you excited
Oh
to
yeah.
to, to sing those different types of? Because most performers really, as they get older, their genre changes, and you know, so what you sing in your 20s might not be exactly what you sing in your 40s or your 50s. So
Sure, sure. I get that. Yeah, I think that music definitely will evolve over time, and it kind of coincides with what part of your life that you're in at the moment. So yeah, absolutely. I think that it's just as much of a journey as anything else. I think that's our buzzword for this
hmm
podcast.
yeah, absolutely. That's what I love. That's why I always loved to start from the beginning, and really, because no disrespect, but you weren't on top of Mount Olympus when you were born. You had to climb. You had to climb
Hmm.
that, and you had other people to help you get there. So it's the person that I always get very leery of, that says, "Well, I was always there and no one helped me." I'm like, no, like a lot
Mm.
of people helped you,
Oh
and those are
yeah,
the people
you
that
gotta give
I
credit.
really want to look up to, is when they're like, "Oh, I want to give so much credit to everyone who helped me."
Yeah, give credit where it's due. Absolutely. Um, so I do have something coming up. I have an event coming up because I know we probably want to wrap this up.
No, no, I'm on
So
your schedule, so you tell me. Yeah, but
oh,
yes,
okay.
I
Well,
thought.
I talked about pretty much everything that I do. Oh, I have a Princess Party company where I am where I perform as Elsa and Belle and do meet and greets and do a lot of performances. So
Awesome.
I guess you could even consider it kind of cosplaying in some ways, but
Yeah.
I get paid for it.
Hey, that
So
whole
it's
thing, as an actor is like a huge genre, because there's so many people that will pay someone to show up and be uh, Cinderella for the afternoon for a party, or come and sing and be Elsa. So if
yeah,
if
it's
you run
so
that,
fun.
or that, you're gonna make buku bucks for that.
You
Yeah.
can, however, the competition in Omaha is very saturated,
Oh, really?
unfortunately.
Well,
So
that
trying to find
that.
ways to like, I don't know, kind of be out there more. And I used to do a lot of princess parties, with kids. And now I'm gearing it a little bit more towards performances, just because time is money, and I don't have a lot of time in the world. I work a full-time job. I
Mhm.
have things on the side. I have a lot of appearances that I have to adhere to with my schedule of being a national title holder, and there's not enough time in the day to do everything that you want to do.
I mean that.
So you kind of have to pick and choose.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's a thing that you learn, that you put priority for the things that you really want to, and the things that don't have priority, that they just don't get attention. So, and there's no hurt feelings
Absolutely.
for it. So
Right. And speaking of, I do have an event coming up, and it's actually benefiting the Alzheimer's Association in Omaha, and it is called the Ultra Chic Boutique. So that's really cool. I'm going to be able to model in it. some
When is
donated
that? Is that in
dresses.
February or March?
Yeah, that's actually February 1st in Omaha. And let's see, I've been able to do it for the past couple of years because I've had a couple titles. So I have been able to model the most gorgeous dresses that I've ever seen outside of like a pageant gown. And these are donated. Half of them are at least donated. There's a couple that are brand new. So it's kind of like a pick up the draw, but I'm really excited for it. I can't wait to model. I believe it's a designer gown I'll be modeling. But yeah, all the proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Association. And it's also kind of an outlet where people can come and buy a prom or, I guess even pageant dress, if that's what you're looking for. And they're all $30. So they raffle them off, but then you can also buy them for $30. So that is an incredible opportunity right there. And I'm proud and happy to be a part of such an amazing organization.
So it sounds like a great place.
That's so charitable.
Come and donate, and then get a great dress for a local or maybe even a state pageant at an affordable price. So that's awesome.
And prom is coming up, so
absolutely, yeah.
People that want to go do that. I mean, there's a girl that I actually know from the theater world. Just like I think it was last year, she picked up her wedding gown from this event. So wow.
Hey, that talks about quality if she's picking up her wedding dress. So ladies, if you're even close to this event, you should definitely come out and support, raise some money for them, and come out and get a really amazing dress at an affordable price. So sounds like
it's really fun. Yeah, we have a big turnout, and usually it's all over the media in my town, or city, I should say. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really love and look forward to this kind of event. So I'm super excited.
Well, is there anything else that we want to tell our guests before we call it an evening?
If you want to follow my reign, we are crowning our new national queens in July. So if you want to follow me, you can go to Facebook and just give a like to the Ms. Sorry, that was the old title, the Ms. Worldwide page. Also, you can follow me at official Natalie Christie on Instagram. That is my personal Instagram handle.
Well, Natalie, we're so thankful to have you on the show, and I hope that you can come on in the future with your next title. Hopefully, it'll be another national title, and we can celebrate and talk about that experience.
Thank you again so much for having me. This has been a pleasure, and I've really enjoyed being able to talk about my experience and just life in general.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Natalie, thank you so much for coming on our show. I am so thankful for your time and so thankful to finally have our first national title winner. And I am so thrilled that you were our guest. And it's always a pleasure to have someone tell their story and really show that you can go through adversity, fail at Miss America, and then come back and win several state titles and win a national title. So kudos to you. And we're so excited for your future. And we hope that someone recognizes you and they will sign you to a book deal as well as to a record contract. So we will be praying for you. Everyone, please, if you're listening to this, I want to let you know that this show is called the Total Focus Podcast. We drop it twice a month. Our goal is to do it weekly, but right now we're going to focus on twice a month. We also have our movie breakdown show, which is a movie review show with my co-host Yvonne Carlos, where we break down movies. We do not have a set schedule with that, so just keep your eyes open. We're going to try to do about 4 a month. Sporadically, we don't have a schedule like Total Focus. Total Focus always comes out on Thursdays. Now, as a special treat, Natalie has provided us her best cover song that she wants us to listen. So stay tuned to that. And as always, please like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Please like us on YouTube and on Instagram. And stay tuned and subscribe and listen to Natalie's cover song. And I will see you guys later.
I remember tears streaming down your face when I said I'll never let you go. When all those shadows almost killed your light, I remember you said don't leave me here alone. But all that's dead and gone and past tonight. Just close your eyes, the sun is going down. You'll be alright, no one can hurt you now. Come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound. Don't you dare look out your window, darling, everything's on fire. The war outside our door keeps raging on. Hold on to this lullaby, even when the music's gone, gone. Just close your eyes, the sun is going down. You'll be alright, no one can hurt you now. Come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound. Ooh, ooh, just close your eyes. You'll be alright. Come morning light, you and I'll be safe